Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. Welcome to Some Random Guy Speaks. I am your host, Tony G, and we are about to get started today. We're going to go ahead and talk about this senseless killing or murdering. It's really sad, though. It's really, really sad, ladies and gentlemen. It's a sad day to be in North Carolina, especially being a young white woman or anybody for that matter. This guy here, we're talking about DeCarlos Brown Jr. And things. 34-year-old. He's been in trouble with the law since 2011, up to 2015. He's had a rap sheet, when it comes down to robbery and trespassing, assault, and now you may as well put murder. Now that they have apprehended him, he can no longer harm and hurt anyone else and things. But we're going to go and talk about it because this is BS. This is BS, ladies and gentlemen. It's really, really sad to see and hear about something like this. I looked at a little bit of the video. They're actually showing more and more of the video, for this killer, this evil killer that took a life of someone that was about to start her life and her career being a Ukrainian, immigrant. And it's really, really sad for the family to have to bury, their daughter. Children are supposed to bury parents, not the other way around. Her life was taken short by this criminal, this felon, this evil felon criminal. And now that we're talking about it, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, it's really, really sad and bad that this has happened. I said I did it yesterday. I wanted to do it again because I misspoke yesterday on some things, saying that this was New York, but it's actually North Carolina that this happened. I was thinking about the Jordan Neely situation. Yeah, I was thinking about Jordan Neely. And that happened in New York, so I got a little bit confused. But it doesn't matter though, man. I'm just redoing. I'm not gonna post the other one. Yeah, I'm not gonna post that other one. But I'm gonna wait for some people to come into the room, so therefore we can discuss and talk about what has happened. So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, it's really sad that a situation like this have happened, but unfortunately, we are going to do the show and things, and yeah, just one of those type of things, though, man, that unfortunately have happened. We know that mental illness in this country and things that have not been corrected, have not been addressed. And we're also talking about again, where I always like to go. These are failed policies coming from the left, right? Coming from the left. If you were to take the 20 cities, and out of the 20 cities, 19 of them are Democrat, right? Except for one. But out of those 19 that are Democrat ran cities, right? Out of those 19 Democrat cities out of the 20, they have poor, right? I'm talking about poor policies that does not help the people. It doesn't help the people in these cities. The majority of the cities are democratically ran, as I mentioned before. and they have been for a long time. So much that the crime that started festering in our communities. Now, I wasn't around in the 50s, but my grandmother used to always say that when they were in the South, they were able to leave their doors open and unlocked. And when blacks back then, in the, excuse me, blacks back then in the South, they were able to leave their doors. You know, if you lived out in the country, you were able to leave your doors unlocked. You didn't have to worry about people doing. There was no gangs. There was no drive-bys. They didn't have anything like that. The little crime that they had, it wasn't something like a major situation like we have today. Blacks back in the 50s, I mean, they lived in the cities, but in the South, they predominantly lived in the South in these areas under segregation and so forth. But blacks had their own, right? Their own things and stuff like that. I'm talking about own commerce, and they were able to have a black bus line and movie theater and all this other stuff. It was nowhere near the magnitude of what it is today. Ever since blacks have joined on board with the Democratic Party and the welfare, the Great Society, Lyndon B. Johnson, you guys heard me mention that before. And when you allow a people, and this is what they did, because blacks wasn't on welfare until 1965. Lyndon B. Johnson was a racist anyway, but they implemented this Welfare Act, which allowed blacks to start joining, getting welfare. I'm talking about black women, and a black woman that had a baby, she couldn't get welfare if the black man was not in the home. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing. You know, in order for the man, right? In order for the woman to get welfare, the man cannot be in the home. Thus, this is the separation, right? The separation of the black family unit. That was the breaking right there. And the reason why I brought this up, because if you look at, um, you look at DeCarlos, right? Brown Jr. I tried to pull up information about his father, and there was no information about DeCarlos Brown Jr. I couldn't find anything on his father. I'm talking about his father, because if there's a junior, it got to be a senior. But I couldn't see anything regarding a senior, which is very, very interesting. So it goes back to say, I'm going to pretty much go out. It pretty much look like what it is that the Carlos Brown Jr., right? His his father was obviously wasn't in his life, and since he wasn't in his life, this is what caused the situation, right? This is exactly what has been going on. So this is exactly what has been going on. So since DeCarlos Brown Jr. did not have a father in his life, and the mother, she tried to do the best that she can to try to raise him up and so forth, but it was missing that element. There's a reason why there's a family unit. And I have to go all the way back to that point because, like I said, with the mental illness that he should have been receiving, and these insane asylums should have been opened up, you know, so, I'll actually say reopened to allow him to, because he needed to be committed. He should have been in there, not out on the streets. But when you run the Democrats, majority of, I'm talking about cities, Democrat-led cities, they have a horrible job when it come down to being in North Carolina,